Good morning, profitable people. Welcome back to the market call. Happy new month to you all. We're excited to have everyone here on the live market call for today, the 3rd of February 2024. Straight up, we're going to be having today's market call starting off with the analysis on the dollar index, followed by Euro USD and then USD. Of course, we're also going to be analyzing for gold against the dollar, and then we'll be looking at the yen pairs. All right, so that is what we're going to be doing for today's market call. This market call is brought to you by yours truly, the Value Flow Trading Team, and I am CJ. I'll be taking you through this first part of the market call. Now we're going to be heading straight over to the charts, where we'll be looking at the dollar index as our first analysis for the day. Okay. All right, so I believe you can see my screen. So for the dollar index, if we're seeing it, we have seen some jump this morning during the new Asian session open. Like we all know, last week we had a bullish bias for the dollar index, citing that it has entered our previous our point of interest at the beginning of the week last week. That was on Monday, I think. Yeah. So when price entered there, we said dollar has every reason to start buying out from this particular level. Okay, and you can see that is playing out just nicely. And there was a quick jump to the upside for the dollar index. We're going to be investigating that further into the day to see the reason for this quick jump all the way to the upside from where price currently is. So for this level, we're still expecting that the dollar index will keep being bullish. But then with this gap that has been created, we expect that maybe this week or in the coming weeks, we're going to have it filled up back, and then price will resume in the new trend or in the original trend per se, because that is what we have, the uptrend of the dollar index. Now, if you look at it on the weekly time frame, you will still see that gap where the dollar jumped from where it currently is. So we're expecting to see what's going to happen for today, but then I'm expecting that the dollar is going to keep increasing because all the economic indications coming out from the US, the new government in the US is showing signs that there might be some strength in the dollar going forward. We're seeing things like the tariff hike. We're seeing things like they're cutting short foreign aid. We're seeing so many other indications that are showing that this particular government wants to save some money so that they can invest it back into the economy of the United States. So for these reasons and many more, we are suspecting that we're going to be having a bullish dollar into the remaining part of this first quarter. Because I mean, if you are making decisions that will enable you save more money and invest it in your business, definitely is an outlook on your business that is going to grow. So when the US government is doing all this, cutting external expenses like US aid, remitting US aid that is going out to countries like the developing countries, and then they are reducing unnecessary spendings. They are also increasing tariffs from foreign governments that are not compliant with what the government of the US wants to do. All this is showing us that they want to save more money, inject the money into their economy and make their economy better. So I believe investors are already pricing this in early enough, and that is why one of the reasons why I suspect you're seeing a bullish dollar going forward. But then over the weekend, someone just mentioned that the tariff hike was announced over the weekend, so that could possibly be the reason for the jump, because there was not enough time, or the market was not open for that decision to be priced in on the US dollar. So once the market opens after the weekend, we'll start seeing jumps like this. So going into the remaining part of the week, we're still expecting a very bullish US dollar, and we'll be making sure that we take advantage of that on our trades moving forward. Now, if you look at it on the daily time frame, like we just analyzed, price has clearly broken structure. We might see a short retracement, maybe 50% of this gap, or retracing all the way to fill up the gap before it continues. But my bias for the US dollar is bullish. Okay, so if we look at the forward time frame, you still see that very bullish on the US dollar. You can see that everything is just shooting to the upside. So if I were you, I'll just jump on this trend and then continue riding it, because when everybody is seeing a bullish US dollar, I'm wondering who would now be trying to analyze for a bearish dollar at this point, because every indication is showing us that US dollar bullishness or bullish bias is the correct thing to do at today's London session. We're going to also analyze during the New York session by 2 p.m. GMT plus 1 to give you a recap of what we've analyzed and what we're looking out for. So let's move straight to Euro USD. Now, if you look at Euro USD, of course, we're not expecting as much jump on Euro USD like we did on like we saw on the dollar, but then there is still a jump. Okay, look at Euro USD on the weekly time frame. So every currency that is tied to the US, whether it's as a base currency or as a quote currency, is reflecting that jump on the US dollar. So for Euro USD, I'm expecting bearishness, I beg your pardon, going forward. Seeing that this gap has been created, I don't want to start forcing the market to fill up this gap immediately, because there have been previous occasions where you see that kind of gap being created and then it's going to be filled up in coming days. Okay. I wish there was a clear example of that, but there is none at the moment. So I will just move on with the analysis. But then what I'm trying to highlight to you is that whenever you see this kind of gaps, it's not mandatory that the gaps are going to be closed immediately, because whatever is pushing that gap will still be around and then to still keep pushing the gap. But for fair valuation of price, we're going to be seeing that gap being covered before the movement continues to the downside. So looking at where Euro USD is at the moment, it's looking heavily discounted, I would say, because if you compare the percentage change in price from where it currently is to where it was before, from 1.03 to 1.02, that is a massive move that would have taken maybe a day or more to fill up. Look at Euro USD doing 116 pips between Asian session till now. So that has really been priced in. So I would advise you wait for a little retracement and then a continuation, because you're already late to the party. And then we're saying we're already late to the party, then who is early to the party? I believe those who traded Asian session and already priced in this decision from the government would be early. All right. So for Euro USD, I'm expecting that it's going to keep going short. Also factoring in the news that came out last week, the Euro cut down their interest rate by about, I think, 25 basis points last week. So if you check the Forex Factory, you'll see that among the ranking of interest rates, Euro USD has fallen down, and we are in a season where we'll be expecting interest rate cuts for major currencies, except for safe haven currencies. I mean, the dollar, the yen, and CHF. Those guys are going to be keeping their interest rate very stable at this point. That's one of the reasons why we call them the safe haven currencies. But for other financing currencies, we're expecting interest rate cuts, because during the interest rate hike, they were the ones that were leading in the hike. We're seeing 50 basis points month on month. So during this period, we expect them to have the most impact during the interest rate cut season. All right. So Euro USD has already started leading the way. They cut interest rate by about 25 basis points, leaving their interest rate at 2.9. We're expecting a euro short going forward as a result of this, and to take a while before it recovered. Next, we're expecting GBP USD also to follow suit. But by the time the Bank of England released their monetary report sometime this week, I think on Thursday, on Thursday, yes. So by the time they release their own, we are also anticipating an interest rate cut, because I mean, they are leading in the interest rates ranking by 4.75%. So during this period, to tame inflation, we might be seeing that happen, interest rates going down to somewhere around maybe 25 basis point cuts to leave the interest rate at 4.50 or even less. Okay, so we'll be watching out for that news release on Thursday, February 6th. Okay, so back to the Euro USD chart and analysis. If you look at it on the 1 hour time frame, we're expecting that sell-off to continue moving forward for Euro USD. So if you'll be taking any sell from now, or from where Euro USD currently is, I advise you be very careful, because it is currently at a discount, and there are some tendencies that would make it trade all the way to the upside. I mean, the main move has been made during the Asian session, so you can just wait out and see where the second move is going to happen. And possibly it could happen after this gap has been filled, and then we'll continue to the downside, because even those in the US and those in Europe were not able to take advantage of that first move. I believe they would want to allow price to retrace a little so that they can also take part in that move. Okay, so for Euro USD, my bias today is a sell, but where we're selling from, if you're selling from where price currently is, we would have to be extra careful, tightening our stop loss so that if we are wrong, we don't lose so much. Then if price should stop us out on the first instance, we would wait for it quietly to just get to this retrace, this level of 1.03500-ish, and then we'll be slamming Euro USD all the way to the downside, selling it to our point of interest on the daily time frame, which is somewhere around 1.03250. Okay, 1.03250 is my target for Euro USD sell. So at every opportunity I get, I'll be selling Euro USD to that level. Okay, so that is that on Euro USD. If you're looking out for immediate sell entries, you can just wait for this first move that is happening during this London Open or European Open. You can wait for the first move to happen. The retracement is definitely going to come afterwards. Then we'll sell Euro USD from this swing. Okay, so you can just wait that out, and it won't cost you so much to wait out. Now for GBP USD, very similar thing to what we have on Euro USD. If you remember, last week we were analyzing for a GBP USD sell, even though we had a deeper retracement on GBP USD compared to Euro USD. Of course, we had many reasons that we were backing that. We analyzed that last week, so you can go and watch the market call for last week Monday to get the recap of that. So for this week on GBP USD, we're also seeing that expansion to the downside, creating this gap that we have here. It's an imbalance, definitely, like I've been saying. It's going to get filled, whether now or later. It's going to get filled. So on this guy, for the 4-hour time frame, currently is looking like it wants to retrace, because one of the reasons why I'm believing so is that it has grabbed major liquidity to the downside. You can see this liquidity point here. Okay, so you can see that liquidity point, another one here, another one here. So if any of these currencies are going to be retracing, I think GBP US is going to be leading the race in that retracement run before the continuous sell. But my overall bias on the daily and 4-hour time frame for GBP USD is a clear sell, and I expect that to continue all the way until possibly Thursday. Then I'll just take a break and watch on the sidelines to see what is going to happen from the Bank of England monetary policy reports. Okay, so for today, I'm expecting GBP USD to sell from where it currently is. But if I get my hand burnt on the first instance, I'll wait for it to retrace to around 1.23882. And when it does so, I'll continue selling to the downside. So this is what I'm expecting on GBP USD. A sell, and if that doesn't hold, we'll wait for it somewhere around here to fill up this gap, and then I'll continue selling forth. So on the 1-hour time frame and 15 minutes time frame, it's looking good for a sell at the moment, because price has traded into some imbalance that were created during the Asian session. I would want to see if I can try out a scalp from where price currently is. So I'm looking to sell GBP USD from where price currently is, and then I'll be shorting it all the way to this level. Let me show you on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, so if that should hold, I'll be looking to short GPUs all the way to this level here. And my reason for that is to grab this liquidity residing here, 1.22306. Okay, so that would be my target for a GBP short. So let me draw my short tool from here. Okay, stop loss, sorry. Okay, stop loss is going to be here, 25 pips stop if that plays out. So I'll just be looking out for my entry signature from where price currently is. And then it's just going to be a 1:2 trade. About 50 pips will be my target for this GBP USD short. Okay, so let me draw this tool properly. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with my short tool. It's beginning to mess up. So just give me a moment to fix it. Okay. Okay. So I'll just wait for my entry signature. If I see it print out, then I'll take a GBP USD short from this place with about 25 p stop. And then I'll be targeting this level right here. It's going to be a very brief 1:2 trade because the target will be about 60 to 65 pips. Okay, so once I see my entry signature around this area on GBP USD, I'll be taking my position. If not, I'll just want to take another scalp, maybe buying it all the way to this level because this is where I expect it to get to. So for GBP USD, my overall bias is a sell. Okay. However, I'm still open to a buy position that would ride all the way to this place, so long as I'm confirming with my entry signature. Okay. Now, if you're looking at microstructure is already saying GPUSD should trade above, should trade higher all the way to this level here. So that could also play out. Let's calculate how long or how far that is going to cover. This is about 80 pips. So this is quite decent. I'm very open to this GBP USD buy. Okay. And then when it's done buying, I can now take myself to the downside because remember, I always say we trade what we see in the market, not just what we want to see. Okay. So looking at what GBP USD is doing currently, we might see that retracement happen where price is going to trade all the way to that upside. Let's do it this way. Yeah, so I would want to exit before price even gets there. So something like this. I'm waiting to see now if I'm going to get an entry signature currently. So I have these two buyers on GBP USD, a buy all the way here, and then a sell from this level to the downside. Okay, so these are my two buyers on GBP USD. Once this plays out, I'll be glad to take my entry and then take profit from these two buyers on GBP USD. Okay, and I really hope you two are going to take advantage of this once it plays out. And of course, we're going to be using microstructure and our entry strategy to do so. Okay, so that is all for GBP USD. We're going to be moving over to gold. So just a quick recap. I'm expecting a bullish dollar. Already we're seeing signs of a bullish dollar in the market, and we factored in so many things that would cause for a bullish dollar for the main part of this week. And then we're also looking out for a bearish Euro USD and a bearish GBP USD. However, we've seen that there was a gap that was created in the market open from last week's close into this week's open. And we're expecting that the market may fill it up today before trading to the downside. But if it doesn't fill it up today, we will be looking out for entry signatures to take sales on Euro USD and GBP USD to the downside. But if it decides to fill it up, I'll be looking more for a GBP USD buy all the way to 1.28. Yeah, 1.23800 level. That was where I'll be terminating my GBP buy from. And then I'll be looking to sell from there, of course, with my entry signature all the way to the downside to around 1.22306. I hope this is very clear and very objective to you all so that you can take advantage of it once it is playing out. So right now we're going to start continue our analysis with the analysis on gold and then the yen basket and yen pairs.
Good morning, everyone. That's a very great analysis from CJ and CJ Banks. Oh, that's great. Even me, I was really, really, putting a lot of things together on my side here from this analysis of BSY. CJ, from my own end here, last week I attempt to use spending order just, to tie out the very massive for me because all my positions were liquidated as a result of that, news from the United States. So everything I had about four, everything were liquidated. Like There's not a single one. Everything, the jump just messed up all my setup. All right, but that's one of the things why we always made it very well at this get color proper risk management strategy. All right. So I set all my risk, my stop loss is very, very important for all the trades. So okay, so and you can't close the market, you can't close your positions in the middle of the during the weekend. The market has to come first before you go. Okay. So this morning please hear me well. If you can't hear that clear, let me know, please. Maybe I'm going to use the headset if that is what we're going to do this morning. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear now. Is it much better now, please? Just type in the chat box if it's more than now, so we proceed from there, okay? So we are going into the analysis of the precious metal, just as CJ has said. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so just as CJ has said, we've seen what happened in the United States in the course of the weekend and its effects in the market and what we should be looking out for. And just as you know that the dollar also has a very, very key role to play when it comes to the analysis of. Oh, it's still breaking. I'm using an headset now. Please just check from your end. Just check from your end. I'm using an headset now and it should be much better. Please let me know if it's much better from your end now so we can move forward. All right. So the analysis is very, very important as we've said earlier on. So this morning we will quickly be looking at what exactly are we looking out for on the precious metal, I mean gold versus the USD. All right. And as we know, last week happens to be a bullish week for the dollar. And at the same time, we are all right. Thank you very much. At the same time, we are having a very bullish precious metal too last week, and which is kind of, it looks somehow conflicting, but it's normal. That is a divergence, all right? And at the same time, moving forward, we are seeing what is going on the dollar, just as CG already analyzed. Then what should we be expecting on the precious metal moving forward? Now, for the precious metal, we've known we are in a very bullish market. However, there's still a level of contemplation, which is going to be the most passive assets right now, because we are seeing the strength in the dollar and also the strength in the precious metal. So we know the theme of the market currently is flight to safety, and that is what we are seeing moving forward now. All right. So this week, what we are just expecting this week is just a little bit pullback on the precious metal, then continuation of the bullish trend, irrespective of even if the dollar is bullish or not. We've seen what happened last week. Last week was a bullish week for the dollar, and at the same time, for the precious metal, it was a bullish week, even including the yen baskets too. So that's the thing since last week is doing flight to safety. All right. So that is what we are looking out for this week. So this week we are expecting some level of pullback on the precious metal to the downside a bit before we resume the move to the upside. And if you get our mails in the course of the weekend, we are going to see exactly what we actually analyze that we want to see on the precious metal and across all the assets we do send out is what we discovered it happened. Just that, we don't have the specificity that, okay, this should happen this so time and so time, but it's the market and we know where it should be headed to. All right. So, but moving forward this week, we are expecting that the precious metal should go back a little bit into these 4-hour levels here, clear liquidity somewhere around this level, and when it gets to this zone, then we can now see the continuation again of the bullish trend. And remember that the overall trend has been bullish. So if you want to take any sell entry, make sure you see the sell signature first. It's not just using your intuition. These days, I can tell you clearly and boldly that the last few days, the precious metal has not been dancing to anybody's intuition. So if you are using your intuition to trade, well, it's good. However, make sure you see what the market is doing is what you should trade, not what you want. All right. So we are expecting a pullback on the precious metal to this particular level. Then we can now see the continuation all the way to the upside. So that's what we're expecting this week for the precious metal. And at the same time, as it's pushing to the upside, it will not be with full volume, except for the fact that Friday is NFP day. So that is also a level of, is giving us some level of concern. So we have to be mindful of that to push forward with it. All right. So let's quickly go to the 1 hour time frame. What are the levels we can easily take trade on? Right now on the 1 hour time frame, we see some level of market structure shift, plain and clear. All right, but we are still going to expect that price should still push to the upside, just as CJ already explained. Those gaps that has happened on the DSY and other dollar related pair, it's so amazing that such gap did not happen on the precious metal. We just see it tanked, literally tanked to the downside and pushed back up. But other dollar pair, you can see the jump in between their chart. All right, and we expect price to fill it up. Even dollar itself will feel some level there, just as CJ already analyzed. So this morning we are expecting that the precious metal should rally a bit first into, you can see this flip zone that we have here. That's where price is currently stalling currently now, but we are going to see something happen. Price won't just get to this place and just be moving all the way that way. It looks very, very juicy well. All right. So if you see, but something may happen. If you see your sell signature within this zone, you can follow through. However, I'm of the opinion, if we truly want to follow through that way, then we should see some level of sell somewhere here. I'm coming. We're going to see somewhere here. We should see price come to clear liquidity somewhere here. Price should come and clear liquidity somewhere at this point. Sorry, I want to use one of my two here. All right, so we should see price come and clear liquidity somewhere around this point before we see the move to the downside to continue, because of this structure that we already have. But where is it going on the long term? So on the long term, we expect price to still come all the way to this level. But if you go inner on the 1 hour time frame, you are going to see where we have the market structure shift. So price should still rally all the way to this level, and with high tendency for you to clear liquidity around this point. When we begin to see sell structure around this point, then we can easily short all the way from this level to the downside, and our SL will be just at the top of the all-time high. Remember last week the precious metal created a new all-time high around the 2817.15 level, which is this particular point here. So that should be our stop loss if this level is going to hold for this week. All right, so we should be mindful of that. Now to the lower time frame to see what exactly are we seeing. It looks very much clear, and now playing here, you can see it now. So this is more of the flip zone price. That's why we are seeing price not moving with full force around this level. But until we see a sell signature around this point, I won't advise you sell there. Instead, you may just want to wait and allow price to take out liquidity here, and we can easily follow through. Now let's go to 15-minute time frame to see if we are going to definitely is there on 15-minute time frame. And we can see the shoulders from here around the 15-minute time frame too. So which means let price, I will be I'm highly optimistic that when price takes out liquidity here, then we begin to look out for the our entry for the sell. And you can see in between here we have the fair value gap, and also this is more another flip zone inside there. But this flip zone is on the higher time frame, while this is on the lower time frame. And we know that price liquidity calls price, may call price upward here for it to be grabbed, then we can follow all the way to the downside. So let's look out for sell opportunity. We are going to see somewhere around this place until you see your sell signature, then you can easily follow through for the precious metal. All right, so that is that. A quick one to Japan to see what is happening on the yen basket too. Last week was also a bullish week for the yen basket. If you look at the weekly candle last week, you are going to see it was massively bullish. However, if you get the mail last weekend, yesterday night, when we get the mail, you are going to observe that we were expecting price to come and clear liquidity here, and that is exactly what price did somewhere at this level here. You see how price came all the way, cleared the liquidity, and is beginning to push to the downside. So I'm expecting to short yen moving forward here, since it already did this right on Monday. So this week I'm expecting a bearish yen. this week, and where is it selling into? We want it not to sell all the way to the downside, but just for it to clear all this liquidity we have to do here and continue its push all the way to the upside. So this is the move for the week that we are expecting on the yen basket. Now, will all this happen this week? Is possible. We've seen how that just this candle, for this candle, move all the way this much. This sometimes ago, sometimes last year. So this week we may see it clear all this liquidity, and at the same time it may just be coming gradually the way it's been installing in between here. So what we should look out for is, since it has cleared liquidity around the 4-hour time frame, we're going to observe it much more clearly. You can see. So since price already cleared that level, then we expect it to start pushing to the downside. Now, when it begins to push to the downside, where are we expecting price to react from? Now, the first level we are going to see price reacting from is all this diagonal liquidity here. Price should take them out first, then begin to go down all the way to this level here. So that is what we are looking out for on the yen basket. Now, if that is the outlook based on the yen analysis, what should we see on the other yen correlated pairs? The pairs like GBP, JPY. Now, on GBP, JPY, you are going to observe we see a massive, jump to the downside too after the news from the USD, because since it affects GBP USD, we should see something like that on GBP, JPY too. So we expect that GBP, JPY after that, we should begin to see its move a push to the upside after yen is going, since yen is going to the downside, then we should see some push to the upside for GBP JPY. You can see the jump in the GBP JPY too. However, where price is currently now, it's out of what I call out of zone. You see, because you can see how price has been moving. Now it just dropped to this level, and we've not seen the follow through. So we still expect that price is still going to push, cover all this gap, then to some level all the way to the upside somewhere around this liquidity point here. So that's what I'm still observing to see happen. However, there is a level where I'm still expecting, if the yen basket begins to push up again after clearing liquidity, then we expect the GBP JPY to sell all the way into this shoulder level. Here you can see how price stalled all the way there, clear liquidity, push all the way to the upside. So we are expecting price to stick from somewhere around this level, then we can easily follow through. All right. So that is for GBP JPY. Now, what is the now trade if we have any entry on GBP JPY moving forward? We're going to observe that for GBP JPY, price is still very much to the downside. And just this price action that we're having here, if you look at some other pairs to GBP pairs too, like GPUSD, just as CG already analyzed, we are going to observe that this is looking like out of band, like they are looking more like an outlier. Price here is looking like an outlier there. So we are expecting that price should still catch up back, then pick a direction. All right. So that is what we should look out for in the coming days this week. Now, if there's any trade on the lower time frame, 15 minutes, now there's nothing because of this integration that we are having here. So all we are expecting is for price to still push back here. Let's see that connection happen somewhere here, then we can easily follow through. However, we see something that happened during the Asian range. You can see that how that price traded into that level, then begin to push to the downside again. But remember, the overall move that on the 4-hour time frame, we are still expecting price to sell all the way into this particular level that we have here before we now see the massive move to the upside, just as you have the illustration here to the upside for GBP JPY. All right, so that is it for GBP JPY. Let's quickly take a look at AUD JPY, then UJ, before we call it a day. All right, for AUD JPY, we are going to observe we have similar thing happening there too, all across board, all across board. As a matter of fact, I have some entry on AUD JPY, but it's totally liquidated. All right, so this is another thing for AUD JPY. If you look at it from the daily time frame, we are going to observe how that price is still, pushing a bit, respecting, pushing a bit. But this long range, you can see it looks more like an inverse side for the yen basket. Just the way the yen basket is, when you turn it upside down, we are going to see we have similar thing happening there on the yen basket. So if you look at what is happening here, price came all the way tap into the levels that we have somewhere below here. So, but I'm still of the opinion that price still has a high tendency to come all the way to clear this level here, this low that we have here. Yes, price still have a high tendency of doing that. But it's going to be after that it pushes a little bit to the upside again. So where are we expecting price to get into at the at the upside level too? So we are going to see how that we've seen the market structure shift, break to the downside here on this is the daily time frame, mind you, and we've seen how price went all the way back to the shoulder level there and begin to come all the way to the downside. But I'm still of the opinion that this level here needs to be taken out as price rally in the days to come. All right, and on the 4-hour time frame, we are seeing the same disintegration just as we have on the GBP JPY. All right, so we are looking forward to see if this current candle, this 4-hour candle, closes bullish just the way it is like this now. Then we can now go to the lower time frame to look for buy opportunity to follow through to the upside. Okay, now that should be on the if you check the 15-minute time frame, but there's no any signature for any trade yet. And I think that is across board for all the NPS across board. So there's nothing yet for it until we see that price, pushes all the way to clear or to cover up all this gap that's happened during the weekend. Okay, so that is that for AUD JPY, and lastly USD JPY. Now, knowing fully well that they are both, similar like brothers, they are both safe haven assets. Yeah, we are going to observe that jump that happens on the other pairs with JPY did not happen on UJ. Why? Because they are both safe haven assets, and you can see everything is just pushing to the upside. So where are the levels we are looking out for UJ? So for UJ, I'm still of the opinion that it's still going to buy all the way to this level here to clear liquidity here, and knowing fully well that what we are expecting on the yen basket is for it to tank down. So if the yen basket is tanking, then we expect UJ to rally, and at the same time this week, just as CJ has explained earlier on, we still expect more strength in the dollar. So as the dollar gain more strength, we expect UJ to also rally all the way into first this daily order block and then clear liquidity at this level here. Then we will now begin to see any short opportunity around this level for the USD JPY. All right, and if you check the 4-hour time for USD JPY, you are going to observe how that price is still very much, you can see that gap that's happened on the order here on this, and the reason that is there. All right, so moving forward now, we expect price to come and clear liquidity around this level. So that is what we are expecting on USD JPY all the way to this upside here. Let it rally here, then see the short to the downside. Now, what is the now trade on USD JPY? If we are still buying forward for USD JPY, where should we now look out for to take our trade for USD JPY? Now, where I would advise we look out for is if price can come a little bit down here and take out this particular level 1 or this. So if price gets to this zone, let me just mark it here. So this is what I will be looking out for price to do. So this particular zone is my own buy zone for USD JPY. If price pull back a bit first to this zone here or this particular zone here, this will be the massive one for me. All right, so that is like 17 pips, but let's be lenient enough. Let's give it 20 pips SL. All right, so something like that. So all the way, and where are we longing USD JPY into? We are longing it all the way into the higher time frame here, somewhere here, yes, somewhere here. So it's going to take a long while, not really a long while like that. What I mean is maybe this week or into next week. So if you want to hold a trade for a long while, you can look at this opportunity and follow through to the upside. But we expect that price should still come and take out all this level here and tap into this liquidity point here for USD JPY. So that is going to be all for the London session market color. If there's any question, you can easily type in the chat box before we call it a day. If there's any question, ask quick, so we call it a day. And if there is none, remember by 2 p.m. we are going to come back to see the market analysis again. What is happening? What has happened in the London session? Then easily follow through for the New York session to see where exactly we are still heading to in the course of the New York session. All right. So if there is no question, this is going to be the end of the market column brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team. All right. Make sure you trade cautiously and use your proper risk management strategy. Once again, I'm Ejimi. Cheers and God bless.